It's time for a little story time in Grand RP. Today we're going to be talking about how I've lost over $1 billion in this game. I've told a couple of my friends about this. I'm sure some of you guys probably already know about it, but if you don't, let's get into it. Let's hop in the Phantom and go take a little trip around the city. This house right here was my first ever house in Grand RP. It was also my family house. We had tons of parties and shit here. It was honestly just amazing. I ended up selling it for around $15 million, and it also has a helipad. Not too sure what it's worth now, but it's definitely worth well over 15 mil. I then upgraded to a house near Playboy. This mansion right here, I made a whole video about it. And I believe when I bought it, it cost about $40 million. I then sold it for I think about 60 or 63 million bucks. But recently this house was actually on the auction. My friend told me it went for about 400 and something million dollars. And I sold it for 63 mil. And it doesn't have a helipad either, just the location. While I owned that house, I also had my own private house, which was just for me, not the family. And that would be this house right over here. Now it doesn't have a helipad either, unless one was added recently right there, but I'm not 100% sure about that. Either way, had this house as well, and I believe I sold this one for about $45 million. I'm assuming this thing is well over 100 mil now. I don't really feel like driving all the way there, so I'm just going to show you on the map. I also managed to buy the tattoo parlor right here off of the auction. Believe I spent about 60 mil on that, and it was making really good money while there was a hospital here. Then they removed it, and then sales tanked. I was making probably like 400, 500k a day. It was insane. And then I made one of the worst decisions I've ever made. Recently, after all of that, I had this house, I had that house near Playboy, and that tattoo parlor, along with a pretty good amount of money in cash and a bunch of awesome clothes. The developers decided, let's do a raffle and give away the golf course house. Sadly, I didn't win, but the person who did win contacted me right after, and they said, hey, do you want to buy the golf course? I'm like, I probably don't have enough money to buy it from you. He's like, do you have anything to trade? I said, I have a house near Playboy, I have a house near the hotel, and I also have a tattoo parlor that's making about 500k per day. And he's like, okay, I'm down to do that trade. Now, at the time, like I said, the houses combined were worth maybe about 100 mil, and the tattoo parlor was worth about 60 mil. And I decided we should turn down that deal. I then went on to sell those houses, the tattoo parlor, and I had about $250 million in cash. And that's when I just started randomly giving tons of people money and just spending it on pretty much anything. Little did I know that this golf course is now worth $1 billion. It's priceless. Or at least that's what I've been told. I'm assuming you would not be able to get it for anything less than 800 million, probably even more than that. And whoever owns it will probably never end up selling it. Probably one of the biggest mistakes I've ever made in Grand RP. Turning down a house worth $1 billion. And then a little while after, I decided to start a new family called Hell's Angels. And we had this house right over here on the corner. It's a pretty beautiful house. It's got a nice helipad out front as well. Believe I sold this one for about 60 mil as well. But that's not the worst part about this. Hell's Angels was actually a great family. We did a lot of good stuff. We were in the top 10 for a little bit as well. And I decided, you know what? Let me just spawn all my cars in the garage. They continuously got stolen, mainly from people bug abusing. I had to spend well over $100 million just buying cars back. Let's just say this. If I turned down the golf course and I kept those other two big mansions, I could probably sell both of those now for easily over $500 million. But I decided to sell it a long ass time ago. And I also, like I said, turned down the golf course, which is now pretty much priceless. And if I did decide to sell it, I would be one of the richest people in the city at this point in time. But now I have 21 million bucks, a couple nice cars, and I'm probably going to go on the auction today and buy that white jacket with pink luminous trim. But that's pretty much going to wrap things up. I just wanted to tell you guys how I lost out on being one of this city's billionaires. Let me know what you guys think of it, and if you do know the prices of all of those houses I just showed you, along with that tattoo parlor, and pretty much all of that, let me know down below in the comment section. Did I actually lose more than $1 billion? Did I lose close to $2 billion? Let me know. Anyways, that is pretty much going to wrap things up. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and don't make the same decision I made. Sometimes take a risk, and it might pay out in the end. I sadly did not make that choice. Anyways, I will catch you guys in the next one.